When the Gulf spill happened, the first priority, of course, was to stop the crude from gushing at the bottom of the Gulf. And I'll never forget watching it on TV. You know, the discussions and the anticipation and people wanting it to stop and, you know, who can stop it. It was a matter of figuring out how to do that.
Shortly after the spill, there was a lot of public and sentiment towards trying to help out, and that wave kind of spread. And during a meeting at our facility with Mr. Bradburn and some other folks, we discussed using some material that we currently made that would be beneficial in absorbing oil. Through Mr. Bradburn's connections, we were able to be introduced to mobile fluid recovery. Ended up looking at this saying, wow, this can be a complete closed loop system.
And at that point, John's really pushing hard to try to get our technology in front of the right people. So we're working with Tom Murray from the Region 5 EPA. We're on phone calls. Everybody is on board with it. We bring the SP group in because again, we figure the more eyes on it, the better our chances of getting somewhere. So at that point, we feel like we've got a project. John had came back to us and he said GM wants to get involved with it. John had alluded to the fact that the nation was there to help them in a time of crisis, and by God, we were going to be there to help the nation when they needed help.
We had some quick calls. How do we make a new product from some of these materials in a very challenged environment? I'll never forget the first time I went in to a materials engineering meeting with our materials engineers, and I laid a boom on the table. And at first it was like a deer in the headlights kind of thing. Oh, what are we going to do with that? And I said, well, let's make some vehicle parts.
The original platform that we were pushing for was for MFR to be deployed out on boats, barges, whatever it may be. The boom would come to us, we would process it, it would go back out, get reused, over and over again.
The material that ultimately we would get back from the booms was made out of polypropylene, which is a common plastic material that is used in automotive parts. What we needed to do was remelt it down and analyze it and determine what properties it had so that we could know how to modify it.
We were able to create a baffle for the Chevy Volt. That was an air management baffle that goes over the radiator, part about that long, and in fact, it is able to be used, it was able to be used on a 2010, 11 and 12 Chevy Volt. It helped it become the green car of the year.
The best takeaway from that is there were a lot of small players and a lot of large players. A lot of times the big companies, the big players don't necessarily give the little guys an opportunity.
It really helped having a Detroit automaker, GM, small companies, some on the scene companies, and engineering innovation to get this thing done. And when those parts came off the line, I was so happy.